Hi, everybody. It's so nice to have you back this week. I'm Miss Pam, and I'm going to be reading a story about apples this week. I'm sure that when you've gone to the store or to the farmer's market, or maybe you've even picked apples with your mom and dad, there are lots of apples of yellow and green and red all over the place. I love apples, and at our house, we like to make apple pie and applesauce. But this little goat likes apples as well. So I'm going to read a story about little apple goat. Let's see what happens. Down on the farm there lived a little goat. She was quite an ordinary goat, ordinary in every way, that is, except for one. She had quite unusual eating habits. While most goats are happy to chew on last week's leftovers or Wednesday's washing, did you know that goats eat clothes and all different kinds of things? But this little goat preferred apples and pears and cherries. So she sounds like a pretty happy goat. Pretty happy and healthy goat, I should say. Every autumn, little apple goat spent happy days in the orchard waiting for a crunchy apple, a rosy pear, or a juicy cherry to fall. So you can see there's pear tree, apple trees with all different color apples, and there's cherry trees. When evening came, little apple goat would trot home to her meadow, and on the way she would send a shower of pits and seeds over the hedge. Plippity-plip! Day after day, year after year, little apple goat's pits and seeds flew over the hedge. So she would eat her fruit, and then she would spit the seeds over the hedge. On one particular autumn day, a breeze began to blow. The breezy afternoon became a blustery evening, and the blustery evening blew into a stormy night. Look at those trees. They're almost touching the ground, the leaves are. The animals were very scared indeed. They huddled close inside the barn while the wind howled all night long. In the morning, little apple goat rushed straight to the orchard. The storm had toppled every single tree. The orchard that little apple goat loved so much was gone. Look how sad she looks, and look at all the trees and all the fruit laying on the ground. All the animals were very sad when the farmer came to take the logs away. He had to cut down all the trees, and he could save the logs. Look at him in the back of his truck. The farm just won't be the same without the orchard, they said. As autumn turned to winter, little apple goat watched smoke curl from the farmhouse chimney. At least the logs will keep the farmer warm, she thought. At last, spring came. One day, little apple goat noticed something bright and flowery peeking over the top of the hedge. Blossoms! She thought as she continued on her way. And you could see the pink and the yellow and the white blossoms on the other side of the hedge. And then one autumn, the blossoms were gone. Now fruit hung from the branches. Little apple goat could hardly believe it. The animals were so happy to have a new orchard. How did this happen? Who could have planted it, they wondered. And there's the apple tree and the cherry tree and the pear tree. But you know who, don't you? You know who planted the orchard. It was little apple goat. Plippity plip plop. And that is the end of our story. So some of you who have been in our Tot Time and in our preschool story hour before probably remember a song that we've done about apples called Way Up High in the Apple Tree. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And if you know it, you can do it with me. And if not, I will teach you how. So you can do it by yourself or with your mom or dad or whoever's with you. Maybe you can teach it to somebody else. It goes like this. Way up high in the apple tree, so look way up high, 2 little apples I did see. Can you make circles with your hands? And then you're going to shake that tree to get those apples down. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apples. Can you make them fall down? And then rub your belly. Were they good? Let's do it all together. Way up high in the apple tree, 2 little apples I did see. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apples. Were they good? That's a fun song to do, isn't it? Well, it's so good to see everyone, and I will see you next week with a brand new story. Have a great week.